We all have a network, right? Friends, family, coworkers. But what if I told you that network has a hidden architecture, a specific shape that's influencing your life in ways you probably don't even see? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the invisible blueprint of your social world. Okay, so let's just jump right in. We've all heard that old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. But you know what? That's only half the picture. The real secret isn't just about the people you're connected to, it's about the pattern of connections between them. That's what we're going to decode. So here's the big idea. Your relationships aren't just some random list of contacts. Nope, they form a structure, a kind of personal social blueprint. And this blueprint acts like a gatekeeper, deciding what information you get, which opportunities float your way, and even how much trust exists in your community. To even begin to understand this architecture, we're going to need a map. And lucky for us, social scientists have a really cool tool for that, which brings us to our first big concept. They call this map an EgoNet. It sounds a little technical, but it's a powerfully simple idea. It just puts you smack dab in the center of your own social universe, and then maps out everything that revolves around you. It's really made of just three simple parts. First, you've got the ego. In the world of network science, that's you. You are the sun in your own social solar system. Easy enough, right? Next up, the alters. These are all the people you're directly connected to. Your friends, your family, your coworkers. Think of them as the planets orbiting around you. And finally, we have the ties. Now, these are the lines connecting everyone. Obviously, there's a tie between you and each of your alters. But here's the kicker, the part that defines the entire shape of your network. It's the ties, or, just as importantly, the lack of ties between the alters themselves. And when you look at those patterns, they pretty much boil down to two fundamental, almost opposite shapes. And this creates a really fascinating tension in all of our social lives. So on one hand, you can have a network that's all about closure. This is a dense network where pretty much everyone knows each other. Think of a tight-knit family or a startup team. On the other hand, you can have a network built on brokerage. This is a sparse network where your contacts live in totally separate worlds, and the value there comes from the gaps between them. Each of these shapes gives you a totally different kind of superpower. Okay, let's start with a dense network. The sociologist James Coleman did this famous study of diamond traders. In their world, bags of priceless gems are exchanged on nothing more than a handshake. How is that even possible? Well, it's a closed, dense network. Everybody knows everybody, so your reputation is everything. If you cheat one person, the news spreads like wildfire, and poof, you're out of the business. It's a perfect example of how dense networks create incredible levels of trust. And this table here shows you exactly what that looks like. You're the ego in the middle, and you can see that almost all of your contacts, the alters, know each other. This creates a really tight clique where information and, gossip moves fast. It's a high-trust, high-accountability world. But there's a big downside. Mark Granovetter's famous research showed that when it comes to getting new information, like hearing about a job opening, it's actually our weaker, more distant connections that are the most helpful. Why? Well, think about it. In a dense network, everyone tends to know the same stuff. New ideas, fresh perspectives, that stuff comes from the outside, from people who create gaps in the social fabric. And this is what that network looks like. Here, you are the bridge. Notice how your alters don't really know each other? Each one is a gateway to a different world, a totally separate pool of information. Those gaps between them? Those are what sociologists call structural holes. And by spanning those holes, you get this unique bird's-eye view. It's a massive advantage for spotting new opportunities way before anyone else. So how do researchers actually figure all this out? You might be picturing some really complicated high-tech surveillance, but the main tool they use is actually incredibly simple. It's called a name generator. It's basically just a short set of questions that can be plugged into almost any survey to quickly sketch out the shape of a person's social world. And it works in two super simple steps. First, the survey asks something like, who are the people you discuss important matters with? That gives you your list of alters. Then, for step 2, it just shows you a grid with all those names and asks, okay, of these people, which ones know each other? And that's it. From that simple data, you can map out the entire structure of someone's personal network. All right, so this brings us back to the million-dollar question. We've got dense networks that build trust, and we've got sparse networks that deliver new ideas. So which one's better? Well, it turns out it's not an either-or kind of deal. Later research, especially from Ronald Burt, made it really clear. The most successful people don't choose. They strategically build both. They have these dense, high-trust groups for getting things done, but they also act as the critical bridge between different groups. So here's the bottom line. Think of it like this. Dense networks are your home base. They build trust, solidarity, and help you collaborate. Sparse networks? That's your scouting party. They bring back new ideas, new information, and fresh opportunities. You really need both to win. And this, right here, is the biggest takeaway from all of this. It is not about having the most friends on Facebook or the most LinkedIn connections. It's about the architecture of those connections. The shape of your social world is so much more important than its size.
So that leaves us with one last thing to think about, your own network. Is it a dense, comfortable little village where everyone knows your name? Maybe it's time to build a bridge to a new village. Or is it a wide, sprawling web of disconnected contacts? Maybe it's time to introduce a couple of them and build a little trust. What shape is your network in? And more importantly, is it working for you or is it silently holding you back?